After watching RWBY Volume 6, Chapter 3, it is apparent that somehow life on Remnant was repopulated after the God of Darkness wiped everyone out except Salem. In the community right now, there are two main theories for this repopulation of Remnant. The theory that humanity was turned into dust upon being wiped out, and that they were somehow raised from said dust afterwards. Or the theory that the moon fragments are responsible for bringing humanity back on Remnant. Although both theories do have merit, and I'll likely create videos on each, first I'm going to tackle the moon theory because I personally find it more interesting. The moon in RWBY has always been a bit of an enigma. It's taken over 5 years for us to finally know how the moon was shattered, and countless theories have been formed throughout that time. To fully give the theory of the moon's repopulation of Remnant merit, we have to really look at all the information given to us throughout the entire show regarding both the moon, dust, and also aura, starting all the way back in Volume 1, Chapter 1. Take note of what Salem tells us.
Man, born from dust, was strong, wise, and resourceful.
Keynotes, of course, being man born from dust. Now let's cut to Volume 2, and the first World of Remnant episode ever aired, titled, fittingly, Dust.
Dust. By definition, it is a naturally occurring energy propellant that can be triggered by the aura of humans and faunas. But in reality, it is much, much more.
However, that's where the cryptic dialogue ends, and Salem just goes into explaining how dust is used and how it applies to Remnant. Although, things are starting to get interesting now, but let's take another look, this time at perhaps the most interesting information that we have on dust that there is. Going back to Volume 3 now, the Cross-Continental Transmit System World of Remnant. In this one, Ozpin is now narrating.
Unfortunately, modern man has yet to make the technological advancements required to achieve spaceflight, as all known dust types lose their power as they begin to leave Remnant's atmosphere.
Keep in mind that nearly all technology in Remnant is powered via dust. As I mentioned, the reasoning behind this loss of power once leaving orbit has been one of the most interesting facts about dust to me, and one I've theorized on for years. There just wasn't enough information to really know what is going on though, at least until now. I've always suspected the moon to be at the heart of this causation for dust to not function off Remnant, but there was never enough proof. To be quite honest, even still, there's not really a clear reason why dust doesn't function off Remnant, but it is clearly a result of the gods of dark and light. We do know that they viewed Remnant as an experiment, and perhaps by limiting humanity's ability to travel off the planet, they were keeping the experiment in a more controlled manner. Now, tying this all together, let's look back at the current information in Volume 6, Chapter 3. We know that once reincarnated, Ozpin didn't recognize the dust crystals he saw while traveling.
Ozma had found himself in a world completely unfamiliar to him, and without the blessing of the gods, no one could perform magic like mankind was once capable of.
We can then assume that dust was not around during the pre-genocide of Remnant event, at least not in a manner that humanity could notice or harness, because we do have to take note that in the God of Dark's domain, it looks like there was that corruption dust, so to speak, the same dust that we see in Salem's domain in Volume 4, Chapter 1. Anyways, with that, I've laid out the main evidence for this theory to you. However, I've yet to explain what the actual theory is. Still, I'd not be surprised if by now you've figured out what the theory is, and that is the moon is a massive dust, rendered inert due to it being located off Remnant. When the God of Darkness left Remnant and shattered the moon, many fragments were sent across Remnant's surface as we saw during Chapter 3 of Volume 6. Upon reaching Remnant, the inert dust activated and restored some of the godly powers humanity had before being wiped out and all their magic being taken from them. Save for those exceptions of Ozpin and Salem, because remember, magic, along with the relics, was gifts to humanity, and when humanity was wiped out and the gods left, they also took the gift of magic with them.
Your kind will grow to walk its face once again. However, without our presence, they will be but a fraction of what they once were.
Although later on we know that the God of Light indeed created the relics to give humanity a second chance, or more so, to entertain himself a bit more. Anyways, now that humanity would have to rely on dust to access those gifts, that being their old magic ways, which was now only a semblance of what it once was via their semblance, they were stripped of their previous amazing magic and pre-End of Remnant powers. All in all, this theory ties everything together very nicely. It explains why Ozpin didn't recognize dust after being reincarnated, how humanity repopulated Remnant being born from dust, and also gives us neat insight into what the moon is and how it affects humanity and is so closely linked to aura, dust, and semblance. As a caveat, there is also a great irony to this theory, which can also give it some more merit. That irony being that the God of Darkness wiped humanity out from Remnant, but he was also inadvertently responsible for restoring said life as well, after he caused the fragments of the moon to fall all over Remnant. So in closing, I do hope that you enjoyed this theory. It's certainly an interesting one, with evidence tied as far back as Volume 1, Chapter 1, and the very first World of Remnant that we were ever given. If you enjoy my content and would like to support this channel directly, consider donating on Patreon. And to be further updated on the latest and most complex RWBY theories and content, stay tuned by being sure you're subscribed and have notifications on. I'll see you next time.